I'm Sir Eric Peacock, Chairman of Luxury Briefing, and it's a great pleasure today to be interviewing Clive Jackson, Group Chief Executive of Alyssum Group, which comprises both Victor and Rocket Route. Clive, my first question is, what got you into the aviation industry?
Well, like most entrepreneurs, I was faced with a frustrating situation, and I thought I could go out there and fix it. That just happened to be trying to fix the whole private aviation industry. If I could bring about transparency to the process of chartering a private jet, I could make it faster, simpler, and easier, and as a consumer, put myself in control.
Your first involvement, Clive, in the aviation industry was Victor, of course. What's the consumer proposition of Victor?
Well, Victor's all about providing choice, transparency, and immediacy to the consumer. So for us, the value proposition is find an aircraft, see who the supplier is. So if you're a member of Victor, you get to see not only who the operator is, you get to see their air safety certificate, their insurance coverage, and every aircraft in their fleet by the tail number. So within the Victor platform, we show the floor plan, the layout, the height and the dimensions of each aircraft, the age of it, when it was last refurbished and or certified to fly. So you as a consumer are empowered to make the choice. Do you want to buy that type of aircraft for this type of mission, and how much is it going to cost you, and can you compare them like for like?
You're passionate about the carbon footprint. What are Victor doing to play their part in the environmental issues, which are such a hot topic at the moment?
Well, private aviation, climate change and the environment are not what you would call natural bedfellows. So our approach in Victor is to really grapple with that issue and meet it head on and not shy away from it. Last year, we flew 25% of all our flights in Europe carbon neutral. And that was a good start, but frankly, it's not nearly enough. So our mission now is to ensure that every Victor flight, as of the 1st of July, will fly not only carbon neutral, but 200%.
What does leadership mean to you?
There are many aspects to good leadership, and I think first and foremost is a willingness to be able to demonstrate that you're able to listen and understand the needs, the fears and the concerns and the aspirations of the people that you work with. But you have to listen to it, you have to give them that environment and that opportunity to speak up, and you have to let them run with it. And failure is okay, as long as they only fail once at the same thing.
You've made your first major acquisition in the form of Rocket Route. How does that sit within Alyssum Group?
Well, Rocket Route is a very smart tech business that provides flight planning. So that just means that what we've bought today is a smart flight planning business. The future of that business is not just providing flight plan, but to provide flight optimization. Last year in Europe, we had 11 million flight movements. 42% of those arrivals were delayed. In fact, out of the 11 million flight movements, those flights that were delayed by more than an hour, that amounted to nearly 6%. It's a huge number. It's a massive cost for most airport operations, because the one thing common to every airport in any country in Europe is the number of runways that they have. So they're fundamentally resource constrained, both in terms of the runway, the number of hours that they can operate, and the number of parking slots that they have. So any air traffic control congestion that a departing or arriving aircraft faces creates havoc on the ground for the air traffic manager looking after that particular airport. So our future role is one where we can intercept inbound flight delays. These are air traffic control issues, route a flight to a different set of airways, and get them off the ground on time and to their destination on time.
What are your visions for how the group will develop, how Victor will develop, and how Rocket will develop over the next few years?
I think undoubtedly we've got a big part to play in driving this aviation industry towards a more efficient and more optimal future, recognizing that consumers will always want to travel for whatever reason. There are times when they won't need to, and that's fine, but there are times that they will, and we need to make that process super efficient. What's interesting about the Alyssum Group today is that we already have strategic interest in the company. And I think as we go forward, we will continue to see that. So whether they are global energy companies, whether they're airport infrastructure businesses, whether they're aircraft manufacturers or avionics systems, it is all about how do we make this industry more efficient, how do we reduce our carbon footprint, and how do we deliver a better experience going forward. So the question really for us as an Alyssum Group is, can we keep all of these components working in concert together to create a greater value than the sum of the parts, or are some of the parts better able to flourish outside the group? That's a question I don't yet know, but my job as chief exec is to ensure that my operating CEOs have the funding and the support from the group to be able to develop their vision and to keep their vision in concert with the rest of the companies.
Clive Jackson, Group CEO of Alyssum, thank you so much.
Real pleasure. Thank you, Sir Eric.